Alright guys, in the absence of the last video, I went ahead and made up the upper links, I guess you can call them. Went ahead and put them on the rear shock tower, put the shock screws in. Just a little note, it says do not over tighten, and to mount these links in the upper hole. And then I forgot to mention in the last video, there is an addendum sheet that points out subtle differences from the manual, like these screws here. Now they're telling you that they're these screws with the lines. Same with down here. You got two different screws going into the chassis. These ones tell you which ones are what and where. So with that being said, check your paperwork. You might have one of these as well. And we're going to do the rear bulkhead and button up the shock tower. So I already have most of this done. So we'll put that on there. And I'm going to get 4 of these 3x8 screws, and I'm going to put those in, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got the 4 3x8 countersunk machine screws into the bulkhead through the shock tower, and my daughter just came home with some birthday dinner for me, so I'm going to cut it short here, and I will be back to at least finish up these few steps on the rear end. Let me see here. That would be 1, 2, 3. 3 more steps. So I will be back. Thanks again. Alright guys. I was just test fitting these parts onto the chassis. I mean, it's not all together. It's just the parts that I'm going to be needing. One thing that wasn't clear is there's a little piece right here. It's UT001. That's the parts tree, and it was number 2. It doesn't show it going onto the gearbox at all. But when you go to hook up the suspension arms with the hinge pins, it's there. So well, it shows it here too, but it doesn't say anything about it. But you definitely need that piece. It kind of snaps into place right there. I mean, it can't really go any farther than that. There, now it's snapped in. You can see how it sits kind of flush. The piece is kind of cut out for it. So got that in, and then going to use a total of 8 screws, 4x10 millimeters and 4x8 millimeters. Again, this isn't very clear. I wish they had like a bottom view of the chassis so you could look at it and sit there and say, oh, those would be the 10 millimeters and these would be the 4 millimeter, which is, or 8 millimeter, excuse me. 10s and then 8s. And I'm assuming the 8s would go into the gearbox because you don't really want them going too long and possibly cracking it. So again, I'm going to assume that that's what those are for. So I'm going to crack onto this. And got this all finished up, so I'm going to put the this together, and I'll be right back. Okay, I got the bulkhead and shock tower on, and then we're going to fit the control arms, the lower control arms, and they just slide in. Don't forget these little pieces. They show them here, but they don't give you a reference number, so you go back to the addendum, and they're going to be number 7 on the UT004. So those slide on. This slides in like that, and this piece goes on here. And then make sure your links are out of the way. And what you're going to do is you're going to line those pins up with these pieces here. And we're going to bolt this down, and then we're going to bolt the gearbox down. So let me get that straightened out, and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, that was a little bit of a dig. Keeping these holes lined up and keeping this motor guard in the notches in this plastic piece here, which is number 2, I think it was. But once it's in, you virtually have no play fore and aft on these rear suspension arms. The only thing left to do on step 10 is to put the 4 gearbox screws in, and then it's on bag C, which will be for tomorrow. All right, well, thank you guys for watching, and let me get this done, and I'll show you what it's like, and then we'll go from there. All right, guys, there's one thing I forgot to tell you. There's another screw here, which is a 3x45 millimeter that actually goes through the bulkhead mount, through the gearbox mount, and then into the motor plate. So we're going to take care of that one right now, and then that should be done. That would conclude. Look at that, like a glove. Yes, I'm going to use my Tamiya driver on here. And there it is, right there. I did not thread lock that one, so I may take that one back out and put a little thread lock on it and then redo it. But that concludes bag B, and hope to see you all on bag C when I start that, because then we're going to get into finishing the rear drive line, putting these battery protectors into the chassis, doing the dog bones. Looks like part of the roll cage. I'm not sure how many of these inserts I have. I didn't really look yet, so I can alter the toe angle. And very thick pages. My God, my fingers don't work. There we go. From 13, then we go over. Looks like we're doing some more links, and then we're doing going into the servo saver and front suspension. So yep, that's bag C up to bag B. So we'll crack on that in the next video. Thank you guys again for watching. Thank you again, RCL. This is very different than my norm, because it's been probably since '97 since I built the Kyosho kit. So it's been quite a while. Again, thank you guys for watching, and hopefully you like what you see, and any questions or comments, please leave them below, and have a good night until tomorrow. Next video is coming up. Thanks again. Goodbye.